The Local Search Association would like to welcome you in today's webinar. We will be producing a series of webinars in the upcoming months, so please stay tuned for more online events from the Local Search Association. And I'm pleased to welcome Will Vasquez from Moasis.
Well, welcome to today's webinar. Really appreciate the Local Search Association having us on today. Just as a quick ground rule for everyone, if you have any questions, please feel free to use your chat window on the GoToWebinar control panel down towards the bottom. You can send a message and it will be forwarded off to us as we're going through the presentation. We will try to address them. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Will Vasquez. I will be your host on today's Mobile Media Webinar Review. I wanted to take a moment to thank you again for attending today's webinar, and I assure you we share the same interest in understanding how mobile media will drive business results now and into the future. Today we're going to highlight what is happening in the mobile media space and then take a deep dive into a specific application and tool for your professional mobile marketing applications. We call it the Moasis platform. Our presenters today will be Ryan Golden, CEO of Moasis Global, Jason Mascari, Chief Product Officer, and of course myself. I believe Ryan is on the road. He'll be joining us shortly. Jason, are you with us? Can you hear us okay?
Yes, I believe Ryan has joined us. Ryan, are you there?
I'm here. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good. All right. Good afternoon, Ryan and Jason. Glad we can all be here together. So I'll continue on. I'll start us off with this slide. What's being said about mobile media? Most of us, I know, are probably involved with marketing and media and digital media options, and we have a keen interest in what's going on about mobile media. We've probably seen some of these quotes already, but it's worth taking a look at them. And they seem sensational, but really they are showing us what's going on today. Quotes like, mobile will dominate the future of media and advertising. Within the next 12 to 18 months, mobile access to the internet will begin to rival that of PC access. Mobile will save retail. And of course, Facebook, as the largest social media platform in the world, is actively working to come up with a monetizable mobile strategy. So let's take a look at the mobile landscape in the U.S. Mobile phones are becoming a second screen for television. More and more people are simply on their mobile device, on their tablet, while they're watching TV. TV is sharing a lot of the face time with consumers using their mobile phones and smartphones. You can see this graphic here that sort of illustrates by 2014, which is not very far away, more mobile devices than PCs and laptops will be in people's hands. And that is a huge, huge shift. The adoption rate to mobile is faster than anyone predicted and faster than any adoption rate to any media device in the history of mankind. As of July 2012, approximately 50% of the U.S. population owns a smartphone, and the adoption rate only continues to increase through this year and into the foreseeable future. As of March, which is really surprising here, tablet ownership in the U.S. was about 16%, but that's expected to grow quickly to over 30% by the end of this year. And that tablet ownership is spanning what most people think of smartphone ownership reaching a younger demographic, perhaps male demographic, but in tablets, it's broad-reaching across the age spectrum. And in fact, many, many older Americans and people in general are picking up tablets in droves. And for those of you who have audiences or businesses in major metros, or recognize that you have a multicultural audience, U.S. Hispanics, African Americans, Asian Americans, and those audiences are important to reach them, just know that the adoption and penetration rate is even higher for non-minority, for the multicultural audience. So what are the key differences that mobile media offers? What we like to say is, what's being kind of thrown around there right now is the mobile moment. That point in time when someone decides to take an action. They've seen perhaps some sort of promotion, and they're at an event. Everyone, pretty much anyone that has a mobile phone right now, a smartphone, recognizes that all of a sudden that device is empowering. And that's the mobile moment, when someone decides, hey, I'm going to Google that. Hey, I'm going to get my directions. I'm going to take advantage of that offer and have that coupon delivered right to my mobile phone. Or I'm going to contact someone and socially share something with them, reach them wherever you are. So here are some of the sort of the top line items that I've come up with to talk about, what are the differences that mobile offers marketers. Obviously this is a direct response medium, and it offers some of the highest direct response rates. We've seen rates, in the teens for direct response. That's just tremendous, but we've actually seen rates up into the 30 and 40% level, which is just amazing. And it's proving to be the most responsive media that marketers have available to them today. Of course, it's intimate and personal. It offers timely engagement. Part of the holy grail of marketing, the ability to reach a single person as an individual, but do it on a mass scale. So we know that mobile really offers something special. Of course, you're location aware. It has the ability to go viral. You can immediately share something either on social media or directly with your friends. It's affordable. There's ways for us to scale a mobile marketing program. It's green. It has that high impression factor, that wow factor. Mobile payments, which we will not go in today, but mobile payments are absolutely right on the horizon, and it's going to be a huge, huge part of the mobile ecosystem. The mobile marketing is quantifiable, and it's always present. So what types of advertising programs do we have to offer, or that you can take advantage of? Mobile display advertising is a big one, and that's what we're going to focus on today with the Moasis platform. SMS and text marketing, another big one, been around for as long as cell phones have been operating. We've been able to do SMS. SEO and SEM, search engine marketing, search optimization, mobile activation using the camera, 2D barcodes, and other types of scanning, taking a picture of a check that someone gave you and being able to have that check directly deposited to your bank account. Pretty amazing stuff. Proximity-based, the ability to walk by a retailer and have offers come up right onto your phone. And of course, branded sponsors and apps. Apps are ready to take off in a very, very big way. And Moasis platform actually helps businesses who are developing apps to help offset the cost of those apps through our unique mobile advertising solution. So our solution that we're going to be talking about, and we're going to transition into that right now, is the Moasis global solution, our geo-centric approach to display advertising. Businesses want one thing over everything else, customers to their doors. We provide access to that local foot traffic. That is our value proposition, and I'm going to hand it over to Jason at this point and ask Jason to sort of walk us through the value proposition and how the Moasis actually show us how the Moasis platform works. Jason, are you there?
For joining, and thank you, Will. So we're going to dive into the Moasis platform to really touch on some of these points that Will mentioned in the mobile ecosystem, and really the display platform in mobile, really reaching those consumers in the locations that you want to reach them. So what we do is we bring location to life. We realize that those people in those areas that you want to reach, it's an audience. There's characteristic or personality to these given areas. So we give you access to that. What we've done, in a sense, is split the entire world into a grid. So it makes it very easy to select, as you can see on the screen here. If you want to reach that square, that area where people are, whether it's around your local business or where your competitors are, or you may know there's an event happening there. You can activate that square. That's where your message is being delivered to our publisher network. So through this grid, it allows us to do a lot of cool features, and it makes mobile marketing simple. So we've scaled this across the entire globe. So no matter where your business is or where your customers are, you have the ability to select that delivery method in that area. We've also tagged all these cells with the different businesses. So right now, if you wanted to go in there and you wanted to, say you had a coffee shop in Chicago, you could build a rule, and we'll show you this. I want it Chicago, but I only want cells that have a coffee shop or Starbucks or so on. And you can activate your message in all those areas. So there's a lot of unique features. We won't dive into all of them today. But the Moasis platform allows you to do. So really, at the end of all this, after you've set up your campaigns, which we'll show you in the Moasis platform, it's really about getting in the hands of that user. So at the end of everything, this consumer, this customer, this potential customer, say he's in Chicago on Michigan Avenue, he's engaging in one of our publications that we're working with or applications. We're seeing banner ads now, but what we do is we localize that. So in this example, Neiman Marcus has chosen to target cells on Michigan Avenue. That's why he would be seeing this banner ad. So as you'll see, when you create those campaigns, you'll be able to upload this banner image and then choose those locations. So this banner image will only be displayed if that person is in those locations that you've chosen. So in the next step, after he clicks on this banner image, we can present this mobile landing page. We'll show you too how you set that up. It's very simple. You upload this image, you enter a click to call, so you just enter your phone number, a link to a website, enter your address, and you can see that right on the map. You can also sign an audio and video file for that offer. And you can also activate a couponing option so this redemption button becomes available. So a lot of different options that you can present to them, take a call to action right there and then. So again, just to touch on, basically what we've done is we're doing the heavy lifting. I don't want to get too complicated here, but we're aggregating a lot of data points, really funneling it into these individual cells or locations. That allows you to quickly and efficiently target these locations and know the type of customer in those areas. You can also start to see this is a bidding platform. So you're very familiar with search campaigns, so Google AdWords and so on, where you're bidding for that keyword. We've taken that same methodology and applied it to locations. So now you bid for these individual parcels of land. If you want to spend 4 cents anytime someone sees in that area, you can determine that. You can also determine your budget. So there's some obvious strategies around this. So it's very geo-centric. You can attract local foot traffic. So say you only want one parcel or a few of them to drive that foot traffic into your store. Or say you know when there's an event happening, say it's the Super Bowl or a convention going on, you can activate those areas so your message is displayed when people are engaging in those devices. Also important is utilizing geography or in context of where people are. So although this is a very localized platform, so you can get very granular and only target your message to specific areas, you could still do an entire state by, city, zip, whatever that strategy is. But now you can really manage your messaging down to this local level. So I could have one banner being displayed when people are in this area and a different one in this area. So I can understand the different audience in these different areas. So with that, I think it'd be beneficial to get right into the platform. So here's the Moasis platform. After you've signed up for a free account, you just log in and manage your campaigns much like you would a Google AdWords campaign. So first thing, you get dumped into a dashboard. You want to move on to the localizement section. This is just our coin term for local advertisement. You would create a campaign, so you could put a plus sign, give it a name, and you save that campaign. I already have a campaign added here, and also some offers added to it. So if I click on this offer, if I were to add a new one, I would give that offer a name. Here's that click to call feature. So if you remember that blue bar of buttons there, so if I wanted them to call my store location, call my business, I would enter my phone number here. Here's my link to the website. So if I want them to click to a website, I would enter that URL here. here's where I can activate my couponing option. I can set unlimited, or I can set a specific redemption amount. Let's say after 10 people redeem that, it will be taken off the system. Then I can also enter my details and restrictions, which will get emailed to that user. So as you'll see, the primary form of targeting is locations, which we'll get to. But within that location, you can target specific categories of applications or websites. So if I only want this offer shown on business applications, food and drink, I can do that as well. But for the most reach, if you're getting very granular, you would want to select all categories. So the next step is uploading your creative. This is where you upload your different banner images for smartphones, tablets. Will touched on this. We do provide the ability to upload both English and Spanish versions of your ads. So the Spanish versions are being distributed to Spanish-speaking applications and websites. When you click on that banner image, this is that larger image that you can upload for additional information. Here's where you can assign an audio and video file to that offer. Then you move on to scheduling. I believe there's some questions about some of the location aspects, demographic, and so on. I'll touch on that when we get into the location section. So you can schedule these different offers, so available to and from, specific days you want it active, specific times of days. And again, there's a lot of additional features that we can get into, but for the sake of today's webinar, we're going to touch on kind of the high-level overview. So in the location section, here's where you can start assigning locations to a campaign. As you start adding more and more campaigns, you'll see that in this list here. Then you would choose the campaign you want to assign locations to. And then you would navigate the map by, you can enter a city, state, zip, address. It will show that on the map here. And when you find the area that you want to start targeting, what you'll see is the Moasis grid populated on top of the map. So what we've done is we've populated the entire globe with this larger cell size parcel here. So it's about 1.5 mile by 2 mile area. However, in the major DMAs, we split those cells into smaller cells. So you can get much granular in these major DMAs. So in the New York, you would see areas like this. And it's as simple as they have a store location here, my competitors here, I want to hit some people in the park. You just activate where you want that message delivered. So you can take this approach where you're hand-picking them right on the map. You have the freedom to select wherever you want that message delivered. Or you can use this list feature to target a whole city, state, zip, and so on. Another thing we've done, I think we mentioned before, is what we've done is we've tagged all these cells with the different businesses that are in them. We're also looking at tagging them with audience types, demographics, and so on. So then you can build rules around selecting locations. So I can say I want anything that is located in, say, Miami, Florida. I can add another rule, say I'm the local coffee shop in that area, and I want to hit wherever there's a Starbucks coffee. So basically, you can select those different tags. Our system will analyze that and select all the locations. Here, there's 40 parcels that have a Starbucks in it and are in Miami, Florida. And I can go ahead and add those locations. I'm going to look here. I believe we have some questions going on to address some of those. The specified demographic, basically, as you'll see, you can just choose the locations you want to target your message to. We do provide, as you start adding these locations, these parcels, they get added to your list down here. If you hit this details button, you can kind of get a sense of the basic kind of U.S. Census demographic information here, the population, household income, and so on. We are continuing to add that, so we have a lot more data that we'll be pushing into this window, so you can get an understanding of that area. As far as demographic, if you want to target, some lifestyle type things, you can in your localizing sections of certain categories, whether it's gaming applications, sporting applications, and so on. You can in a sense target that way. So targeting location, as well as say sporting. So if there's a sporting event going on, you can target around those stadiums and choose to only target sporting type applications. So that's kind of the way of targeting certain demographics. And what we're doing is becoming smart about this grid. So like I mentioned in the advanced tab, you'll be able to say, I want to hit in Miami where there's soccer moms, skews heavier to soccer moms, shopping goers or foodies and so on. All those different things are coming online here shortly. So how large or small is each bid-to-grid section? So in these major DMAs, it gets down to almost a couple block area, so less than a half mile by half mile. In those larger ones, it's about a mile and a half by 2 mile area. And there was another question about how do you track users across apps and devices. Moasis is very kind of stringent as a company as far as privacy. So we are a location company, but we didn't take the approach of geo-fencing and some of these other approaches because we didn't want to pinpoint people. We know what cell they're in, and we can do a lot of things around that. And then we don't track them at this stage across the application. But what we do is provide you all the tools to really understand the audience at a given time in these cells, so you can target your message to be active in those areas. Another aspect of this is you can really manage your messaging on this localized level. So as you see, I have in my campaign, I have 2 offers added to that campaign. So you see that I have 2 active in all these locations. I can choose. So one of these cells, I only want one of these messages active. So I'll deactivate the other one. I won't get too much into that feature, but basically that allows you to do some breadcrumb approaches. So say in these cells that are further away from my business, I want one message delivered, but when they're right near my business, I can have a different banner being shown. So then the next step is the bidding section. So you would choose the campaign that you want to manage. So we only have one right now. Then you would enter your daily budget, like $10 a day, $100 a day, $1,000 a day, depending on your objectives and your budget. So I have $10 there, and then I can set my impression bid. So in this scenario, I'm willing to spend no more than 5 cents per impression. And then we could leave it at that. That gets applied to all our locations. Or we could get more granular, and we have 4 locations here in the New York area. I click on this parcel here, highlights it in the map, and let's say that's where my store is actually located. I want to be more aggressive in that area. So I want to bump it up to 8 cents an impression. I can also allocate a specific budget to that location. So what this really allows you to do is, some platforms you may have used before, you can target, say, a city. So say it's Chicago. You can create a budget and a bid for that. However, you want to be more aggressive in some areas, so you don't want to have to bump your budget up across the board. You can really get more granular and really put that money in the specific areas that are most valuable. Let me see, I think we have some more questions. How many impressions can be delivered to any given cell? Right now, this is a very new system. It's a new industry, new platform. What we're doing is we've turned it on. It's about a month old as far as delivering impressions. We have access to, I believe, over 2 billion impressions a day, and those are location-aware impressions. And what we're working to provide is an estimating tool. So then once you're in this bid section, we will estimate how many impressions you could see in a given day. And that's very similar to the estimating tool you might see if you've done Facebook ads. So as you build that campaign, it gives you an estimate. You might hit 1 million impressions and so on. So we'll provide that tool at the campaign level of all your locations, but we're also adding a button for a reach button next to each of these parcels, so you can really get a sense of each of those individual locations, what your reach looks like. Let's look at some of these other questions. There was a question, can you set a message up ahead of time, start end dates, so a client, provide the schedule of offers and so on? Yeah, so in the localizing section, you could schedule this all out months in advance, so you could set your start date to 2 months from now, get all your campaigns created, your budget set up and so on, and then they will just go active in those date ranges that you set for it to be active. Does the dashboard deliver any screenshots of ads actually placed and seen? Currently in the dashboard it does not. What we do have, I believe in our support site, is some images of what that may look like. So I think that will be beneficial as far as, and we do have a created spec doc that kind of shows the placement in some of these apps and where those banners would be shown. If that's helpful. And let's see, more questions here. Do you have a list of sites and apps that the impressions appear on? Right now it's based on category, so you can see those based on the category of apps and sites. We are linked into a lot of the major mobile exchanges, so we see a lot of impressions that way. We also are direct to publishers. And as I mentioned, this is a very new platform. We will be releasing some of those new application and website partnerships. So you will get a sense of what the network looks like. As of right now, like I mentioned, you don't get a list of where it's been shown in a given area. You do get to see the categories, and that's the way it is today. However, that could segue into the reporting section. This reporting section will be changing here shortly to offer more insight, like they're asking as far as some of these specific sites, categories, and so on. But as of today, you can see your total impressions, your total clicks, and you can drill that down all the way down to the cell. So you can see it at the state level, how many impressions you had. You can see that for the city, zip, and so on. You can also see that over time as well, and specific campaigns that you want to see, specific date ranges, and so on. So like I mentioned, there are a lot of other features that are being added to this. One of those features is being able to see kind of where your ad's been shown. Some more questions here. Is your pricing based on impressions or clicks? Currently, it's based on impressions, so you have a bid per an impression. Some of the reasons there is you could get very creative with your campaign. So say you wanted that one cell where your location is, right there in the banner, you could have a call to action. Tap in for $1 off coffee, or whatever that might be. And that person looks up, your store's right there, and they walk right in. Right now, it's cost per impression. There are some potential plans to add other financial models as well. What are your current average costs per impression, large, medium, and small parcels? Right now, it's ranging around 3 to 4 cents per an impression. And this is a real-time bidding platform that can go up from there. Do you have examples of successful programs? What industry products or services seem to be seeing results? We do have some programs running right now. So case studies will be available from our site as they conclude. As far as industries, products, or services, it's been amazing to us. We developed this platform for marketers, and we built this for marketers. And constantly when we talk to new agencies and even small businesses, the creative uses that they come up with surprise us as well. Even some of those service-related businesses. If you're the plumber, we've had people talk about targeting around the Home Depot. So those do-it-yourselfers, they can have a message saying, hire the plumber, whatever that creative is. So obviously this skews heavily towards if you have a retail location, you can drive that local foot traffic. But even the large brands can have a message kind of enforcing that brand message in context of where people are. And I think that's a good segue. Ryan, if you want to touch on some of those points, he's our ad man in the office here, and CEO.
But yeah, the conversation we had range anywhere from CPG, QSR to retail, and as Jason was saying, they're now getting more creative with their objectives. And I think where we're getting a constant compliment and feedback is this gives the ability to start targeting specific creative to specific areas. So if you want to speak to maybe the club goers, you could target the nightclubs, the beach goers, the beach, but it's all under the same umbrella of your brand initiative. And now, in essence, you could gerrymander your creative, which was one of our intentions. For example, a QSR in Chicago goes, so we could hit you at one L stop and say, you're 5 stops away from your morning coffee, and to remind you when you're at the stop. Well, of course you can. It's creative things like that we're hearing. I also think what we get excited about is, businesses of all sizes, should focus on the consumers that are, quote, looking for their business, along with, quote, seeking for the consumer at the right place and time. A lot of us use the method of looking through Google AdWords. Great example on how all of us, control a budget, while addressing the issue of the consumer looking for a business. On the other hand, there are consumers that advertisers want to reach even when they're not looking. Both are very important when it comes to your marketing mix. So what we want to do is aid those advertisers that are interested to speak to the consumer at the right place and right time, and work here for one-to-one consultations, to basically guide you through that process in this new platform.
Okay. Sure. So some of the other questions: what networks do you currently work with, AdMob? Right now, as far as from the filling the space with advertising, we are working directly with the agencies, with some of these local businesses and so on, retailers, etc. So working directly with those advertisers to push the ads into it. As far as delivery, like I mentioned, we're linked into a lot of these major mobile exchanges, NextDate being one, to help deliver and direct the publishers, and we'll be releasing some of those specific publishers here in the near future. I think there were some questions about tracking calls and those actions. Yes, in the reporting, we do track those actions, and you will be able to drill that down, where those actions called and so on. Another question that came in here. Do you have a list of your partner distribution lists? Again, that's it's not available to specific sites and so on, but we are working to provide some more insight on what that network looks like. We are working to build a very quality local network, so a lot of the news outlets and so on. When thinking about this is when targeting applications in a given area, you have to think of in context what those people are interacting with. So if you want to hit people on the golf course, what type of applications might they be on? That's really the strategy around targeting some of those categories to think about. That really was a high-level overview of the system. Again, like I mentioned, there's some additional features and so on. We definitely encourage anyone to, if you're interested, we can give you a further demo. I think I can hand it over to Will from here to kind of talk through some of that.
Well, thank you very much, Jason, for walking us through that, and Ryan for being there to give us a little more perspective on why this company was set up and how we're affecting the industry. I think we have an amazing platform here. The ability for any marketer to, right from their PC, create a mobile marketing campaign, execute that, and in virtual real time know exactly how their campaigns are performing, where they're reaching people. Amazingly powerful technology that we have here, and it's right at your fingertips now. So I appreciate you, both of you being on and walking us through the platform. I also want to recognize everyone who joined us today. Thank you from all of us on the Moasis team for taking some time. I know your time is very valuable. I want to assure you that everyone who registered for the webinar will get a copy of this slide deck. You're viewing this last slide, which is giving you some instructions on who to call. We have Mr. Ken Glowacki, who will be a sort of a point person to coordinate any future presentations, private presentations and private conference calls, so that we can help understand your needs and create solutions so that we can get you moving right away and integrating a mobile media campaign for any of your businesses or your clients' businesses. I think with that, we'll go ahead and close out today's webinar review. Again, thank you for joining us and have a great day. And thank you, Julie and Local Search.
You're very welcome, and LSA thanks you for joining today's webinar as well.